Hello and welcome back to the League One Roundup. We are back after a couple of weeks away. Other commitments got in the way, but we are firmly back to regular weekly shows. Yes, we are here covering the latest batch of League One fixtures. Another 12, but already 8 games into the season. There's another game on tonight in Forest Green Rovers against Accrington Stanley, a struggling Forest Green Rovers side who are looking to get their first 3 points of the season. But we're looking back at the weekend's fixtures and results. Some big points at the top going to Ipswich and Portsmouth, and some results not going so well at the bottom. We've also had a managerial casualty as Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank resigns as the Burton Albion manager. He no longer feels he can do anything more with the budget he has got. Obviously, on Sky on Sunday, we'll come to that later on in the show. But we need our co-host. Unfortunately, we've got to bring him on, and he is here. Jake, how are we doing, son?
Yeah, nappers, mate. I'm good. It's the first time I've seen you since our draw a few weeks ago, which I think
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, the one that you were celebrating, like a World Cup win. You mean?
No, right? You could say that, right? Okay. The first 15 minutes away at Lincoln. Obviously, we drew on Saturday again. It was always going to be a tough game away at you boys. You've drawn your first 2 games of the season, and like you were telling me, Regan Poole is the next big thing and the next, best defender in League One. But I must have had different glasses on that day, and you were 2-0 after the first 12 minutes, and we were poor. We couldn't lay a glove on you. What was funny, to be fair, Jake, was when in the first half, Anthony Scully cut inside, and it was pretty much a replica of what he did last year when he curled in, hit the post and went in. It didn't quite go to plan, but you could see what he was trying to. Obviously, he's now left the football club. Sorry to bring that up for you.
Where's he gone, Ben?
Wigan have scored. I said he would. No, but I think that after it went 2-0, a bit of a change of shape. Batty's ball in for Paddy Lake. Was he offside?
Yeah.
He's a yard off, minimum off. But then after that, I thought the referee he made mistakes for a lot of teams. I thought you were looking up to get a red card yourself. Obviously, we got to the goal, so I think it evened itself up in the end. And then after half time, we were miles the better team. That we created 8 or 9 chances. Promise should have had 2. Mendes Gomez should have had 2. And then we get the goal through Jed Garner, who heads it home. So I was buzzing. And, I turned into a little bit of a, I'd love it if we scored here. And look what happened. Joe and Jed Garner score goals, eh? Yeah.
Do you know what? I walked away from the ground really, really frustrated because...
Didn't you? You weren't. You couldn't tell in your messages to me.
The first goal, like you said, was offside. The second goal is a free header from a corner 93 minutes into the game. Well, from a free kick. Do you know what I mean? It's a 3-header from a set piece in the 93rd minute. Given the fact the referee added 9 minutes on, ludicrous, by the way, can I add?
How? Because
it wasn't 9 minutes.
I'm just saying, by the way, 9 minutes, minimum 9 minutes.
You've got
2 players went down. There were 7 subs. That's 3.5 minutes minimum. You've got 2 injuries that went down for a long period of time in total. That's a minute and a half. Your time waiting adds a minute on. Minimum there, I was thinking it should be 10 or 11. 9 minutes I thought was generous to you boys, but carry on.
But anyway, Ben, if you're 2-0 up at home and you can see in the 93rd minute, it's an absolute gut puncher. But we're not going to talk about this all night because you'll have your...
No, it's just a little bit of a catch-up because we haven't spoken since.
No, yeah. I mean, there's 12 games that people want to hear about tonight, but they don't want to hear about how 2 teams that are going to be playing in League 2 next season got on in a game, do they? No.
We won't be able to do
League 1 next week. We won't be able to do League 1 next year because we'll be League 2 co-hosts. So.
Hello, Roy. Good to see you, mate. Hello, Paul. Put all your comments in. We will come to them. Hello, lads and lazies. We'll come to Portsmouth in a bit. Again, we'll start off with Accrington, who do play tonight. We'll keep an eye on those scores. Lost 2-0 at the weekend. Fabulous Ipswich win. Chaplin with a couple of goals. there was a deflection off Burns. It depends who you want to give it to. But Connor Chaplin, if you're awarding the goal to him, that's his 5th of the season, Jay. He got 9 last year, which was an impressive tally. For me, it'd be disappointing not to get in the double figures last year for the amount of chances and games that he played. But it's a really good run for them. They've won 5 of the first 7. They've kept 4 clean sheets. You know, they're perfect away from home. They've won 4 out of 4. You know, they've gone away to teams that they should be beating in the likes of Shrewsbury, Accrington, but they're winning those games of football where, you know, I don't think they've beaten Accrington away from home up until that moment as well. So a good win for them. But for Stanley to only take 7 from the first 6, a bit like Fleetwood, draws have kind of been their season. 1 win, 4 draws, 1 defeat. They're yet to win at home in the first 4. Last year, they were in the top 6 of the best home form. For me, missing Colby Bishop, and 2, they need that home win as soon as possible if they really want to get in that top 12 again.
Yeah, Accrington are one you're starting to worry about, even though, you know, they're in safe hands under John Coleman, aren't you? Great result for Ipswich. But yeah, Accrington, you're starting to, a few alarm bells are ringing, the fact they've not won at home yet, and Accrington pride themselves on a really good home form, and it's a really difficult place to go and a difficult team to play. One team, then, that picked up maximum points this weekend, Bolton Wanderers. 3-1 win over Charlton. I really think this is a significant result in Bolton's season. Charlton are miles better than what they were last year, and Bolton absolutely wiped the floor with them. Apart from the fact, you know, they went behind early. Fraser, this Raksaki, who signed on loan from Crystal Palace, he looks a bit of the real deal. Someone we were linked with, what a surprise, went elsewhere. But then Bolton showed this fighting spirit that they've got under Ian Evatt. And Ian Evatt teams have always got this, whether that have been Chesterfield, Barrow, or this Bolton side. And Conor Bradley, Kieran Lee, and Johnston coming up. Is that 3 defenders? That's 3 defenders scoring goals, which, you know, for Bolton, they've got such great depth of attacking talent. You know,
I think Lee got one who you can class as a midfielder.
Okay, Lee is a midfielder, but still, they're not recognised strikers. So you've got, you know, your likes of Affolai and sadly, Charles, and that, who are the offensive players you expect to score goals. But I think Ian Evatt will be really pleased that those that you don't expect to score are getting involved. You know, and even you're looking at the assists. Jack Iredale got an assist, so the whole team are contributing. Bolton are starting to move in the right direction, aren't they? Whereas for Charlton, I'm sure they'll be disappointed. But, you know, the uni ball is a tough place to go, Ben. And yeah, what did you think? Yeah,
I agree there. And, you know, we mentioned, you know, Bradley, who got a goal and assist, who started life really well. Obviously, his assist was a scuff shot, but he's still getting in the right area. He's bombing down that right-hand side, Trent Alexander-Arnold type, and you can see what, you know, Liverpool bring forward. Every age gap at every football club, every good football club train at the same level. I was obviously at Fleetwood on the college course and I got to watch the under-18s, I got to watch Fatigue, I got to watch the under-23s, under-21s, so be it. And all the way down, they all teach the same way. So if Fleetwood were playing 3-5-2, you play 3-5-2 if you want to be in the first team. And you can see exactly what they're looking at. And, you know, you mentioned Bradley, but Jack Iredale on the other side is just like Andy Robertson in League One, the way that they can get down both flanks and cross balls into the box. And Jack Iredale, for me, I think was Bolton's first or second signing of the summer. And I mentioned in the video that I signed yesterday about Jordan Shipley signing for Shrewsbury. Your first signing at a football club is normally your biggest target. And you can see why he came in. Obviously, retaining James Trafford was also a big goal for them, but players that weren't at the football club, and they got him. For me, he could have gone to a lot of other football clubs as well. Interesting you say that about the strikers, because I agree. You think, you look at the strikers, they haven't really got going yet. Your Affolaians, your Boardvalsons, you know, the Dion Charles types of players who scored a lot of goals from January onwards. Goals have been coming from the likes of Kyle Dempsey, Elliot Lee, Bradley, those types of players. So it's a good win, that. You know, they've had a slow start, but they've still beaten some decent sides, Bolton. They've had a tough start when you think about it. Your first 7 or 8 games, you're playing Charlton at home, Wycombe at home, you're going away at Ipswich. These are tough games to get out of the way as well. And that they are going to be some force at the end of the year, in my opinion. Charlton, again, Fraser getting his 3rd goal in 7, which is always good to see. I think he's finally getting back to his Burton, Albion, and NK Dons days as well. A solid solid performance. Yet to win away in the first 4 games, but it's yet to lose at home. So it's one of those, really. Cheltenham just need to get up and running away from home. But I predicted 2-2 before the weekend, and I went, both sides need to win to kind of put a statement out there to kind of we're going to be the ones pushing on for top 6. And if I'm honest with you, out of both sides, I think Bolton are better, but Cheltenham have got a lot of decent individuals as well. We'll go on to Bristol Rovers, Jake. Who, frustrating point, Joey Barton labelled it as, you thought Shrewsbury were bad, wait till you see this mob in town. But Morecambe went and scored 2 goals. They matched the total for the first 6, 7 games of the season in 1, and went to get a good point. The 4th point of the season, they've drawn 4, lost 3. One of 2 sides yet to win, Burton or the other. But Collins on the him feet, 4 goals for him now. Frustrating afternoon at the men.
On the what? On the him feet? You mean the score sheet? The him sheet. That's not even a score sheet, Ben. That's just something else. Anyway, I'll ignore what you just said. Look, Morecambe, obviously they've had a rough start to the season at the end of Derek Adams. The whole Cole Stockton thing didn't help. I wonder what Tin Pot Football Club got involved in that. Difficult really for Morecambe to set the sights straight. But I think like this, that Derek Adams can use this as a turning point for Morecambe. Going to the Mem is a tough place to go. Yeah, you asked plenty of League 2 teams last year what ground do you not want to go to, and probably the Mem would have been up there. So, no, for Morecambe, I think it's a good point. For Bristol Rovers, they're struggling at home. I don't know what it is. Too many draws of the defeat to Forest Green. They've drawn a couple of games at home, haven't they? They've probably won one, but I don't think
drew at home to Shrewsbury as well.
I tell you what, the TikTok stuff that came out of that, shout out to the guys at Shrewsbury, Scott and Jake. They were amazing. That was fantastic. The whole M&M.
They do really good stuff over there.
And Bristol Rovers fired back, didn't they? Which I thought was good, but it wasn't as good as like the Shrewsbury.
You don't use the same song for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Tim Pot really, but no, Gasser going to be worried that they need to put these sorts of teams. If Bristol Rovers are going to stay up, Morecambe at home is a game that you earmark to get some like a positive result out of. And unfortunately for me, given the Morecambe side, the side that Morecambe are, that's a poor result for Bristol Rovers.
It is. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to make a bold statement because I know Joey very well. If they carry on like this, I reckon you'll see 5 out the door in January minimum. I remember doing this, right? In his first season, he released 12 players in January and brought 4 or 5 in. And it was like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? What are you doing? And it's all on how Joey Barton mentally reacts. And you'll see that. Morecambe just need to get going. Ash Hunter had surgery today. He should be back in the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks or so. Cole Stockton also... again, a couple of tweets likes on Twitter about him not happy about a move. Did I ever think he'd come to Fleetwood? No, I just thought, who cares? But I think you're 28. You've only had 1 good year. I think 600 grand's a disgrace of a price tag. I think that they thought they'd get it. They're obviously up for sale and maybe need as much money into the football club as possible. And you're going to have a half-interested player, and I think that could play a part at Morecambe. But we'll come across to another game, Cambridge 2, Lincoln 0. Joe Ironside, one of my favourite players in this league for what he does, with goals 2 and 3, up and running. The 5th in the league, Cambridge, by the way. 100% victories at home, 4 out of 4. And not going so shabby, are they?
No. It's difficult because I was sat there on Saturday going, these are nothing special and they've just walked over. That's more a concern about how we're playing than how Cambridge are playing. That's not a derogatory term towards Cambridge United. Cambridge United were good. 2 shots on target over 90 minutes. That's something that you should be worried about. I think the difference in this game, Ben, was having a number 9 that can score. They've got Joe Ironside, who had 2 chances all game, stuck them both away. We have Tom Hopper, who's a number 9, doesn't score 20 goals a season like Joe Ironside does. Just the way it happens. Look, it's a game that we won 5-1 last year. We took 1,000 fans there, which is pretty decent. we thought we were going to win the game. I'll be honest, it's the games that we think we're going to win that we don't do well in. Cambridge is a game that we thought we were going to win, and once the first goal goes in, then for me, I know what's happening. I know we're not going to score. We didn't look like scoring. We had a chance 10 minutes in. Teddy Bishop just decides to pass it back to the goalkeeper. But apart from that, we were horrendous. Just awful. Passing around the back. We saw the new lad, Matty Virtue, quite liked him. Jack Diamond, quite liked him. But not penetrative at all. We're really missing Jordan Garrick. Jordan Garrick is a massive player for us. Danny Mandrew, the man from Shamrock, who's not yet played, massive misses for us at the moment. So, there were some positives, but we kept the ball really well. They didn't create too many chances to the 2 goals that they stuck away. But I'm coming away from the game going again, like the game against Fleetwood. I'm so frustrated because we are better than how we're playing. I've seen it for half an hour periods. I've seen it for hour periods over the course. But I was there for Oxford. We were fantastic that night, but. I'm really worried. We let Charlie Kendall go out on loan on deadline day and didn't bring in a striker. The striker we tried to sign, they went on to Derby. Will Oscar, you might have seen him sign for Derby. Just so frustrating, mate. Really, really annoying. I don't really want to talk about it anymore because, to be honest, I'll start crying. But there is a really good game for you to talk about because I don't want to hear your thoughts on Lincoln because I think you'll put us into the ground, which we probably deserve. Derby 2, Plymouth 3, Ben.
Yeah.
I wish I was there instead because I text my mate at half-time, who's a Derby fan, going, "You got this easy, mate. That's a good 3 points against Plymouth for a really good outfit." Step forward Sam Cosgrove, who didn't do very well at Shrewsbury, didn't do well at Birmingham City, but makes a bit of an instant impact for Stephen Schumacher and his boys.
Yeah, they did. And I said before the game, no, I'm not slagging off Derby County here. Derby are a good side, but they're not a good team. They've got very good individuals, but good individuals don't make you a good team in League One at this moment in time. I don't think Derby will challenge at this rate. They've got good players in Mendes Lang. Collins is a decent striker. They've just got so many good players, but it's like I don't see it gelling together yet. And I know it takes time when you build so new manager, new players, everything, and you can't get it in the first 8 games of the season. But I said at this moment in time, Plymouth are a better team. They're well organised. They're hard to beat. They score goals. Bear in mind they won 4 of the first 6 games going into this game of the season. They just won. I think it was something like, I think they won 3 out of 4 or 2 out of 3, something like that, and they were on a decent settle of form. And I just thought that the way they played, they'll beat Plymouth, and at 2-0, I was getting slaughtered. Well, they won 3-2, and Morgan Whittaker, the former Derby County man, football manager, wonder kid for me once upon a time, good goal, and then Sam Cosgrove with 2 goals as well.
Morgan Whittaker, a wonder kid. Are you sure?
He was brilliant for me, a football manager, son.
I have seen him play for half a season, and if you're calling him a wonder kid, then God knows what you call Paddy Lane, Ballon d'Or worthy, probably.
I'll get on to him in a minute but again, brilliant win for Plymouth. They've won it late, but that shows everything that Argyle have: spirit, abundance, quality, goals. Wow. Keep your comments coming, guys, and as well, let me know how you think your team's start of the season is going on as well. Where do you want to go to next, Jake?
Well, if we're going in alphabetical order, then we're staying in the southwest and going to Exeter City.
Good start.
Wow. Aren't they doing well? To beat MK Dons, playoff semi-finalist last year. And to be honest with you, I think they did it pretty comfortably. I think Exeter at home are really strong. They just played really well. And do you know what, Ben? It was more... I feel like the thing about Exeter on this particular game was more... It was more about the game, more than just the game. Obviously, they've signed one of their strikers who they named a stand after. They retired the number 9 shirt of Stansfield. They signed his lad on loan from Fulham on deadline day. I think it was deadline day anyway. On loan from Fulham, who had just played actually against Arsenal in the Premier League the week before. And I think it was really touching for him to be given the number 9 shirt that his dad wore. and make his debut for Exeter, which is a really nice story. You don't have many stories like that. So, but in terms of on the pitch, they did really well. Another win. They're taking to this level like a Dr. Water, aren't they, Ben, at the moment? MK Dons, don't know about you, Ben. I know Gab Sutton had them to win the league. I think that this loss of Twine and Darling has really done them.
100%.
Keeping the manager's great, but you've got to back him. I just feel like he maybe wasn't as backed as much as he probably could have been in the transfer window, given the money that they received for the two players. So, no, I don't know what your thoughts were, Ben, but Exeter just keep on going at this minute.
I can tell you why MK Dons aren't doing great. They lost the core. Fleetwood have done it. Shrewsbury have done it. Had good years, got to the playoffs. Both lost playoff semi-final and final respectively. MK Dons have done the same thing. And, you bring in loads of new players that aren't as good. Older players, try to replace him. And, that this is what happens. They've lost 3 of the first 4 away games. They've not scored in 3 of them. That they've all lost. The other one, they beat Morecambe, 4-0, fair play, good victory. I just think at times MK Dons either look really good or really poor. And that's your mid-table type of side. These types of games last year, MK Dons don't concede. You could see them passing out from the back from little bits I've seen. And Exeter pressed like animals. They had them. And MK Dons looked edgy. They looked, I don't know what it was. They didn't look the normal selves, MK. They looked like, how do we get out of this? And they were looking for a long ball, which they wouldn't normally do. And I say this passing game is good, but it does get found out time to time. If you can press it and put high energy in it, obviously you can't play like that 46 games of the season. But as a one-off game against an MK Don side, you were the only side who like to play that way. You can do it because you can put in your high energy, especially when you haven't got a Tuesday game. And that's the problem that MK Dons are going to have this year. A lot are going to be chasing them. It's a brilliant win. It was a good goal by Diabate. And, they've been brilliant at home this year. And they fully deserve to be where they are in the top 7, top 8 of the table. MK Dons need a lot of life, though, for me. And MK Dons will come better, but Exeter, they're putting in performances to be proud of, keeping clean sheets and making St James's Park a fortress.
Job, Ben. I think MK Dons have gone back 2 years because when they first came into the division under Russell Martin, if you pressed the living daylight out of MK Dons, you scored 4 or 5. And I feel like maybe if you do it well enough, you might get a similar sort of joy. Anyway, we won't talk about them because I know you're really buzzing to talk about Fleetwood 1, Wycombe Wanderers 1. Now, on the surface, Ben, this is a good point because Wycombe were playoff finalists last year. You were 1-0 down to Anis Mehmeti, who our mate Broom seems to rave about and will tell me he's going to play in the Premier League. I'm looking forward to that, Broom. But you clawed a way back into it. You got a goal. You got a point. I know you're disappointed to draw games. I know you are because you want to see your team win. But sometimes a team is a little bit more financially more backed than you, a team that are better than you in a few ways. Are you not happy with a point against Wycombe?
I am. I'm more frustrated about other things about us. I think results are okay, if I'm honest with you. Wycombe, by the way, they are good at what they do. They're bad enough with 11 men, never mind 10. As soon as they got that sending off, I think it obviously helped them a little bit because they can stay compact, and that's what they're good. If you're looking for a team to stay compact, to hold on to leads, to, do everything the right way, to sit in, move the ball, carry on to a lead, be well organised, then Wycombe Wanderers are the best team in the league for doing it. McCleary got sent off. I don't know what for. I never saw it. Off the ball incident. Obviously, they get the goal through, Anis Mehmeti, and it's a brilliant finish. It's a nice little bit of skill, cuts inside. It's a brilliant finish. For 45 minutes, Fleetwood were a joke. Lethargic, slow, couldn't move through the lines, backwards, and it was like just so frustrating to watch. And 42 minutes comes in. Brownie does something that I've wanted to do for, I'd say, 6 months, and bring Paddy Lane off in a way to basically go, if you're not up for the task of playing, because if you think you're better than us, I love Paddy Lane, but if he thinks he's better than us after recent speculation, then get off the pitch. He threw his shirt off the pitch. For me, Harvey McAdam, who came off, he's not good enough either. Warrington, who came on, looked the real deal. Keane Hayes, I'll say what you like about him. He was awful against Lincoln. One thing Keane Hayes will do, he'll press for you, he'll run for you. We were better second half. But one thing that frustrates me is every time Fleetwood play poor, and it's like Brownie needs to basically get into them at half time to get reaction out of them. I think with Paddy, I don't think that he wants to move. I just think that maybe he's been found out on that left-hand side. I don't think he's a winger. I think if you put me on a front two or a front three, you'll get more joy out of him. But I reckon maybe you just need to take him out of the team for a couple of weeks or give him a little bit of a rest. But decent point. It's 5 draws in a row. But I don't see it like that. I see it as, you can say we're 6 unbeaten, but we're 5 without a win. For me, you've drawn 5 games, but you're 5 without a win. Going into, bear in mind, Burton, right? You know, the bottom of the league, but we'll come to them in a minute. After that, you've got Charlton at home. You've got Peterborough away, Charlton at home, and then you've got, I think we've got Portsmouth away coming. We've got Barnsley at home coming. It's like, these are tough games, and it's like we could be found out in these next few weeks.
Yeah, you wanting to get the points on the board rather than going into those games against the top teams and having to play out of your skin to get, you know, your points that you've not picked up. Right then, we're going to go to another team beginning with there, Forest Green Rovers. 2-0 defeat to Shrewsbury at home. And you know, this is another game that I quite like the story around. Jordan Shipley and Tom Bayliss, obviously big mates at Coventry City. I think they'd not played together for 3 years, but you know they rolled back the years and just after half time as Bayliss slopped Shipley through to score. Raquel Pike as well getting on the score sheet. I'm sure that will please Shrewsbury fans as they've been really crying out for a really good number 9. I think Ryan Bowman was quite up to the task, but if Raquel Pike can score goals in these games against the likes of Forest Green, then I think Shrewsbury are going to be okay. You're licking your lips at me. I don't know why. But no.
Just something in the comments, mate. Just something in the comments. I actually, you know something? I'm enjoying listening to you for once. You know, you do come up with a good fact now and again.
Are you show the comment? I think we should all see what the comment is.
No, it's a comment on my Instagram about the show. It doesn't matter.
Oh, brilliant.
But I agree with you about Jordan Shipley. For me, he was Shrewsbury's best signing. For me, I think Jordan Shipley is one of the best players in League One. And you'll call me deluded. I speak to my mate Matty all the time. He's a massive Coventry fan. And he told me when he was leaving at Stoke away that they shouldn't get rid of him. He is a championship player. He doesn't care if he only plays 20 games a season. But he needs to play games, Jordan Shipley. He won double promotion with Coventry, deservedly so. You know, Bayliss is an unbelievable player as well. You know, obviously had a tough time. Was it at Preston? I think it was. But a goal and assist for Jordan Shipley. In midfield, he's a great passer of the ball. He won't get you goals and assists maybe as other midfielders might get you at this level, like a Cameron Brannigan type of player. But he is one where he's a bit like a Josh Vela type of player. Perfect replacement for Josh Vela, actually, who's now at Fleetwood, who is a warrior midfield, good passer of the ball, and can make the game look easy. It's a brilliant result for Shrewsbury. Bear in mind, by the way, they played some tough teams. They've yet to lose away from home. They've got 8 points from 4, which is an unbelievable return. But Forest Green, though, Jake, they're yet to win at home. They're yet to draw at home. We've lost the first 3. Accrington at home tonight, which is a must-win game for me. It's where the results come from because obviously they won at the opening day. Since then, they've only got the 1 point in 5 games.
Yeah, where did that come from?
Up and running.
Where did that come from then? Where did that point come from?
That's what I mean.
Us, of course it was.
I tell you what, Jake, I wouldn't surprise us if we drawed the last 38, 39 games of the season.
Yeah, do you know? Yeah, well, yeah.
You'll still be wearing Fleetwood shirt. Yeah,
you'll finish on more points than you did last year. That'd be good for you, there, wouldn't it, Ben? That'd be nice.
Yeah, go on the cards.
Anyway, yeah. Well, they're 0-0 after 15 minutes against 20 minutes nearly after against Accrington. So. We'll have to wait and see with Forest Green, Ben. But I'm going to ask you about a game. I just need to find it first. So I'm going to look really professional. This is the production you get. Right, Oxford, Burton. Obviously, the casualty then of Jimmy Floyd. What was confirmed yesterday or today? Can't remember. Dino's now taking charge of first team matters. Burton are poor, aren't they? Oxford, from any stretch, didn't really play well, but when you play on a side like Burton that just give the game to you, it's pretty easy. I'm setting you up so that you down.
This is what I'm right.
So that
you said that, I was thinking.
Fleetwood next
I was
week.
about to say something about who's in charge, and I'm thinking, oh dear, who've they got up next? Oh my God!
I'm just setting it up for you to slag Burton off.
Great point for Port Vale, wasn't it?
No, we're not. No. That's
all right.
game.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about Oxford because they've been off this year. Bear in mind now that they've won the last 2 games, albeit against Cheltenham away from home, with I think there's a questionable decision in there as well, and then Burton. But these are the types of games that they need to get up and running. We've always talked about Oxford as slow starters, and I think they've won 3, drawn 2, lost 2, or something like that. To get 7 or 8 points so far in the league after a poor start, it isn't a bad start. Obviously, not up to their usual standards. I'm yet to see them. Obviously, you saw, and I see them at the end of this month, so I can have a bit more of a look at them. 7 out of the last 9 points with a draw against Morecambe, but they're the games that they normally win as well. Burton, though, only 1 draw from 7 games. I think, personally, I said at the start of the year, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, when you've got a manager that just doesn't want to be there, come on, he was applying. I know you've got the Rooney rule with a BAME candidate has to be linked with every job. He was putting his name out there that he wanted these jobs. And it's like, where's your head at? You know, you're always on. The one thing that annoys me that he's always on Sky, right? Burton's fans got a problem with that. However, he was on Sky just as much when you were winning games 18 months ago. But when we said this at the time, I remember saying to you, he's the king. The king's on TV. You know, King Jimmy's on the TV. What a legend he is. You know, he doesn't talk anything but facts. Now there's a problem because he's losing games, and that is the reality of being on a pundit. And maybe you shouldn't be going on Sky when your team's doing so badly. But I think he wasn't happy. The players weren't happy. The owner doesn't like sacking managers. Even Cloughy walked away. I just think that they failed. Dino, I think, is a good interim. We said a lot of times that having a good number 2 is key, and you've got basically 2 managers in there. Do I think he could take on for the long term? I do. But how many number 2s normally long term, more than 1 game, do well? Do you know what I mean? And maybe they haven't got anything to prove to Dino. With a fresh face, maybe the tension's relieved. We don't know, but there's a lot. There's a lot to be. There's a lot to be. You know, a lot needs changing at Burton because when you sell Gassan Ahadmi, who, bear in mind, he isn't the world's best striker to Ipswich, but he still scores goals. You know, he's I think the level 1 striker now, and he's like, well, who's going to score your goals? And for me, they looked poor before Dino and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank came in just January 2021. December. They look even worse now. They look horrific, and they basically look like, I don't know. They look like a car that's got no wheels on it, no steering wheel.
They look like Crew last year. They look like Crew from last year, Ben. They look like Crew from last year.
Yeah, bear in mind as well, this isn't an 8-game run. This is 23, 24 games. Yeah. They've won 3. I think they've won 1 game since they beat Fleetwood on March 12th. That says a lot.
They beat us.
Yeah. No, 2, sorry. They beat Rotherham at home as well. How they did that, I'll never know.
Well, hopefully they can sort themselves out in the week and get a positive result on the weekend. Anyway, Port Vale, Cheltenham. My mate scoring again for Cheltenham, Dan on Underloo. Very happy for him. Seems to really be hitting the ground running at Cheltenham this year, doesn't he? Obviously, it helps going back to a lone environment that you've been in before. I think obviously him going there towards the back end of last year and getting injured, he knows the environment. Yes, it's a different manager, but I think the player will be happy going back to that sort of environment. And Port Vale then obviously came back out of the blocks, didn't they? Odebeko, who was on loan at Donny last year from West Ham, he goes and scores. Perry gets an own goal, but Cheltenham managed to save a point in the last minute, and those are the sorts of games where you're drawing, where you're losing in the last minute, and you think, what else can we do apart from nab a late equaliser? They feel like wins, don't they, Ben?
They do, and all you need to do is play Fleetwood and you pick up a good run. They lost the first few games, and obviously they're starting to get points on the board now. Obviously they went away at Exeter, got a point. Away at Fleetwood, got a point. Away at Vale, got a point. No, so they went away at Exeter, got 3 points. Sorry, and they're doing really well. Dan Alundu again on the goal sheet. I watched him against Fleetwood. You look very lively and you look a decent player. I just thought, if you could put Alfie May's shooting boots on, you're not doing too bad. Alfie May's not been on the score sheet for a little bit, but he was good on Saturday, I thought, in a bit of a different role. Obviously, he had a lot to play with the second goal, and Vale be frustrated. I feel like they're either really up there or really down there. Obviously, not won at home since the opening day against Fleetwood. Need to get back up and running. Obviously, got a couple of good wins so far this season. Beating Fleetwood, beating Burton, sides that you'd need to beat. We're unlucky against Portsmouth. But again, I reckon if you offered both a point, they'd be frustrated. But Cheltenham would have wanted it more being away from home. And they're a step closer to 50 points. I think that's all you've got to say, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you want to talk Pompey then, Ben?
Yes.
Do you know, I'm so jealous you have to talk about this, and I have to talk about Sheffield Wednesday getting beat at home. I really do. I'd rather switch. And yeah, what a game down at Fratton. I think Tom. I don't know if you watched Tom's video. Really well put together video, but wow, Pompey under Danny Cowley are going places.
I disagree.
Do
they
you?
play 4-4-2. How can they go up?
I don't know. Well, I can tell you what, Danny Cowley knows how to get a side promoted out of a division. I can promise you that. And
if you are an outsider, Joey Barton came out with a comment going, "We're a miles better team than them. Portsmouth, no problem. They play 4-4-2. Down the line, we'll meet Pompey and we'll be above them at the end of the year." Disagree, delusional. Again, when you've got Portsmouth and you've gone, he can score. You've got Bishop that can score. Connor Oldguy, who's been scoring goals early this season. You've got, obviously, Scarlett got goals every day. Colby Bishop. You've got Joe Piggott to add to the frame as well. You've got, midfielders like Marlon Pack. You've got players from the back, Ronan Curtis. These types of players. Ronan Curtis, by the way, I thought was good Saturday. He was unlucky not to get 2 or 3, really. Again, great win for them. They averaged 2.1 goals a game, Portsmouth, which is the most in the division. Brilliant goal for Scarlett. The second goal, just cut inside, under the defender's leg and into the near corner. That is a Harry Kane-esque finish. Again, I'm excited every time I watch Portsmouth, especially at Fratton Park. We said when you drew, you were a little bit frustrated that you only got a point. On the day you felt like maybe if you squished up the pitch a little bit more, took the one of the couple of opportunities that you had, you could have got more. And I went, to be fair, mate, I don't think more than 6 or 7 teams get a point at Portsmouth this year. Well, that's going well. I think they've won 3 out of 4 games at home. That is a really good start. And Danny Cowley prides himself on home soil as well. But Peterborough, mate, away from home, there's a bit of a worry. I said in difficult moments, I think Peterborough struggle. In the nice easy moment, we still win you 4-5-0. And it's a bit like City at times, but away from home, they just struggle a little bit in the scrappier games. And this is another one of those. They've won 3 out of 3 at home. They've won 9-0 on aggregate at home. But away from home, they've only won 1 game. Bear in mind, though, look at the teams that they've been away to. They went away at Argyle and they've been away at Portsmouth. These are tough games, aren't they?
Yeah, like you said, going to Fratton when they've got the atmosphere and they've got the crowd and they've got a football club behind Danny Cowley is an extremely tough place to go. But obviously,
beep. Time for another Danny Cowley update from Jake.
Posh took the lead in this game. You have to bear in mind, so that's a positive that they can take going forward.
I do want to mention that because you carry on and I'll come in.
It doesn't sound like a milestone, but going away to a big ground like that and scoring the first goal is massively important. So that's a lesson that Grant McCann will take. But no, I agree. Posh at home and Posh away are completely 2 different animals. If you win, let's say they win out of 23 home games, say they win 17, that's 54 points. They probably only need to get 20 points, 30 points on the road, don't they, to be up there? So that's getting something from 10 games, 11 games. I think they'll get it. But no, I'm not worried about Posh. I'm worried about playing Posh, but I'm not worried about Posh. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I agree. And Peterborough as well. The goal, Johnson Clark-Harris off Morrison, brilliant strength, by the way. And him to marry it, to me, to you, brilliant, brilliant front two. Johnson Clark-Harris should have had another one. Marriott should have had another one. And one thing I'll say for Portsmouth are they're getting away in little moments where I think you're getting that little bit of a look where you do at the top of the end of the season, top end, when you're at the top end of this pitch and you're scoring loads of goals and you're at the top end of the table, you get that little bit more look that you don't get when you're struggling a little bit. And it's all on how Portsmouth get through those moments. But for me, they're phenomenal. And 4-4-2, you can shove it where the sun doesn't shine. They play really good football. They get across into the box. I think they've got the 8th most chances per game created. But when you've got the best strikers in the league, sometimes you only need 1 or 2 chances to kill games off.
But we can't hype him up too much.
Tom's happy at the moment.
But yeah, I have noticed Tom's there, so we let's not boost his ego too much. Let's not say Pompey getting promoted now, because we literally won't hear I certainly won't hear the end of it if I'd say that Pompey getting promoted.
Yeah. Now we'll come to the last game, then we'll come into a little bit of a new segment, which I'm going to surprise you with, Jake.
Yeah, you've done.
Devante Cole, a player that I've always raved about. A top striker at this level. Got a goal, and it's a really good, well-taken goal. And, James Norwood, another one, who in his pre-season interview, tell me a joke, and he says Sheffield Wednesday. He goes and scores against them, and a brilliant result for them. More frustration for Wednesday, 13 points on the board. How are you finding it, mate?
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Wednesday fans, do I mute him now?
Look. Obviously, you have to think in perspective. It's a great result for Barnsley. Duff needed a result like that to give the supporters a bit of belief. I think from what I could gather from the fan base is that they were pretty disappointed in performances and results so far this year. I mean, we beat them 3-0 in the Pizza Cup. A few Nappers is looking somewhere else. We beat them 3-0 in the Papa John's last week. But for Wednesday, Barnsley were better than Wednesday on the day. Wednesday were not at it at all. But the thing with Wednesday is they've got so many players to come back into the first team that they've not fully used yet. They haven't had a full opportunity at Hillsborough. So, look, I think Wednesday, as much as it pains me to say it, will be okay. It's just an off day, and these happen. The best teams get off days. Fleetwood will get off days, probably more often than on. Pompey will get off days. Ipswich will have off days. So, look, it's probably best that they get this sort of performance out of the system. I understand for the fans, it's hard because it's against a local rival, but still, I think Pompey will have brighter days ahead.
Yeah, agree. Again, keep your comments coming. We'll come into a Q&A. And again, early part of the season, Jay, what teams do you think we should be looking out for? Because you look at it, the bottom 4 is Cheltenham, Morecambe, Forest Green and Burton. Yeah. How many of those do you think will be there at the end of the year? I'll cut it off. I won't mention 5th and bottom for your sake.
Yeah.
Mind the gap. How many teams do you see being in that bottom 4 at the end of the year? Because if I'm honest with you, I said it a couple of weeks ago, I wouldn't be at all surprised if it stayed the same.
Yeah, genuinely, and that's not to say that we're out of trouble, because I don't think we are. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like, all of them have got their own issues. Maybe let me have a look at the table. I don't think you're really looking at too many other teams. I think the other teams that are above the line at the moment, maybe you're looking at Accrington dropping down a bit, Port Vale, Bristol Rovers if they can't continue to win at home. And ultimately, I don't want to say it, but I think we have to be considered for it. Unless we can pick up, I think we're one that could fall in there. So out of the 4, I'm going to say 3 at the moment, because I'm sure that we're going to have one team completely plummet from the top. Well, not the top, but you're looking at someone that maybe someone in 15th to just drop down a little bit closer to the dotted line. Just some random team, whoever in 15th at the moment. I won't have a clue that would be.
There's only a couple of teams below the line, below the 12, that I said 13 teams can win promotion this year, and that's no disrespect to the other 11. There's always a shock, or I think you've got your first two that are always going to be strong. Plymouth Wednesday, Cambridge. I won't be surprised if they finish in the top 12, but they are a little bit higher than what I thought they would be, but they're doing really well. It's more like the MK Dons and the Wycombe at these moment in time that I think are underachieving. Which two teams do you think are underachieving for you? Would you agree with that? Wycombe a little bit, MK Dons a little bit, but both had a little bit of a turnover with players that they wouldn't normally have.
Yeah, MK Dons are massively underachieving, aren't they? Yeah, like we said before, just like losing your core, and I understand they've signed some decent players, but they've not signed the same quality. I don't think Wycombe are underperforming too much. I think the fact that they refused to sign another striker when they could have done, I think Wycombe, I wouldn't expect them to move too much higher up in the table, if I'm being honest. John, but I'm going to cop it. I think we've been underperformers, Ben. Honestly, I think we're better than what we're showcasing. Honestly, I think I've seen it. I think we're underperforming. This team are comfortably sort of nowhere near where we are now, and I think we should be maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 places higher, based on what the squad that we've got. So I actually think at the moment, I think we're underperforming. Winning 1 game in 7. Not really good enough for us, really.
I think if you're going to go through it, right, if I go from the top, what every team needs to do, your bottom 4 need to start picking up points sooner rather than later. I think Burton and Morecambe are lacking up front and lacking, tactically wise. I think Derek Andrews is a decent manager, but I think struggles with getting your side to score loads of goals, which you're never going to get. MK Dons are struggling with a high turnover, and they've got a lot of experienced players now, and they've had to change the game style around that. Your Port Vale, your Accrington, your Bristol Rovers, your Fleetwood, your Lincolns are going to be in that 6-part, 8-part team part of the season as well. Wycombe again frustrating. They've got Sam Vokes back on the bench the other day, and they also had Mawson back as well, which is a big news to them. I think you might see them lit up the table when Sam Vokes is back fully fit. Cheltenham and Oxford, I think, are just waiting. I think one of those two will go on a run. More likely Oxford in the last few years, but I won't put it past Charlton. With like the Raksakis, Frasers, who's good players as well. Barnsley and Derby are really good in glimpses like that, but then are really poor in glimpses, and that's the difference between finishing 9th and 10th, where Ipswich finished last year, by the way, and the top 6 as well. Bolton been up and down. You see, it's been up and down. They're 8th in the league, and they're only a point outside the playoffs, and that's how standards have changed at Bolton in the last 6-7 months. Exeter and Cambridge, phenomenal starts. They don't get talking about enough. Matty Taylor and Mark Bonner. Mark Bonner is king. In your opinion, I think he's a top gaffer as well. Peterborough and Plymouth are entertaining. They score goals, and I said Plymouth are a better team than Derby. I think they are. I think they play better football. I think they are more settled, and I reckon they'll finish above Derby at the end of the year. Not taking nothing away from Derby. And Portsmouth and Ipswich score goals. They've not lost yet this season for reasons. They're good at home. Ipswich are really good away. Both got big fan bases, and that's how I'd sum up League One so far.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, you are the expert, Nappers. So, what we do?
Who would you say, Jake?
Yeah, go on.
We do go into the Q&A. 3 players that have impressed you so far this season, because I think you've got to mention Connor Chaplin, who's the top goal scorer from in the league on 5. You've got also moves. Colby Bishop's moved by the way down south as well, which is a big move for him. Big pressure, big crowd. Decent sum of money. In a failing side, I think that's got to be considered. And I think if you're looking at, one more player as well, I think you've got to, look at it. The lad that they signed are bedded in really nicely as well.
So the 3 players that I've been most impressed with this season so far. So I've got one from the top 2 and one from the team that are just outside the playoffs. So I've got Marcus Harness at Ipswich.
Yes.
Done really, really well. Pompey, I've got Marlon Pack. Absolute Rolls Royce of a midfielder. I saw it in person. Phenomenal. And I speak to Tom on a regular basis. That man is genuinely ridiculous how good he is. I think Marlon Pack you can put in the Bannon-Hourihane argument, genuinely.
Yes.
That's how good he is. And then
Great.
the third player, who I think may go under the radar this year, and it's purely because he had an absolute worldie against us. It's in the back of my mind, and I've seen he's scored a couple of goals ever since. Sam Nombe at Exeter. Wow, really like him. Really like his direct running, his playing on the shoulder. Score can clearly finish. Him. It was a toss up between him and Giovanni Brown. Giovanni Brown's been very good also. So I don't know about you, Ben. Those are three players that two of them I've seen, and one of them I've seen on the highlights. I don't know. What would you say?
I'd go Chaplin because I think he's fit. He's added something to his game. A couple of midfielders at Ipswich have really impressed me as well. I won't put them in my top three though. It's interesting you say Harness because I'd agree with you. What's mad though, I think that I think it's fitted every situation really well. I think Portsmouth are glad to get rid of him in a way. Ipswich are really happy to take him, and that move has improved both football teams. And that's the move you want to kind of see, if you get what I mean, because Portsmouth have been able to showcase all the players, switch formation, bring Colby Bishop into the football club, bring Dane Scarlett in, bring in funds for that, and bring Joe Pigott in. So I think that move has fitted all systems, if I'm honest with you. I'd go Chaplin. Plymouth, I'm only going to pick one player from Plymouth. I'll go Finazaz. I wanted to go Ballymumba, who I absolutely love and adore. I think he's a fantastic player. You know, bombs down that far side. Wins. I think he's won 2 or 3 penalties. He's got goals. He's got assists. But Finazaz is the one. I think he's a top player. He scores goals. He assists goals. And he's another one that I think that has to be put into that, that debate that you mentioned before as well. And if I was to say a third, I'd say Conor Bradley at Bolton's got to be mentioned as well. What he's offered in the right fullback was an area where Bolton were weak last year. Obviously, Gethin Jones was in and out the side. They couldn't get a settled right fullback. And obviously, Jack Idale is equally as good on the left-hand side. So I was going to mention 3. And then also I've been impressed by, a lot of the bottom teams who have brought in players. I think Ellis Harrison's done well at Vale since going in. And I think Aaron Collins has settled into League One life very nicely. Fraser at Charlton's done well. The other young lad who they've got on loan there as well. There's loads of players that you can name, and it's just frustrating that you can't name all 200 of them.
Yeah, the thing is, people are always going to disagree, aren't they, on who they think are the best players? Because you're always gravitating towards your own team, aren't you? So
let us know your 3 down below in the comments down below.
Okay, I have got a question before we go to the Q&A then. Best performance by an individual player against Fleetwood this season?
That's a good question. Let me think about
I know mine. Mine's Giovanni Brown. Mine's Giovanni Brown. Like, hands down. Giovanni Brown.
I think your lad who scored 2 against has got to be, but I didn't see him for the rest of the game other than 2 goals. I don't think.
No. Teddy's been decent, but I wouldn't say, yeah.
If I was to have a look at it, Vale, I wouldn't say anyone from Vale. Cheltenham, Daniel Lundu played okay. Derby didn't offer much. Plymouth were good. I'd probably say Mumba from Plymouth is, the one that's sticking out at this moment in time. Morecambe, if I'm honest with you, Arthur Ganoa and Ash Hunter looked really good. Hunter looked as good as I've ever seen him against us. And that's not me being biased because I like Ash, but him and Ganoa for Morecambe looked very bright, very, very bright indeed. And then Mehmeti. I'd probably say the top 3 are Hunter, Mehmeti, and Mumba. I'd probably have to go because I won't go Mumba because he lost against us, but out the other 2, I'd probably go Ash Hunter because he was just an absolute pain. He got balls into the box, he set the goal up, he should have scored himself, and he ripped us open time after time. I don't think there's been a champagne selection against us. I don't think I'm gone, wow, like I did with Gregory and Scott Twine last year.
And Scully.
Without mentioning.
Yeah.
He's not a League One player.
He's not a League One player. Right, Ben, do you want to go to the comments and see if we've got any questions?
Who's yours?
I said mine. Giovanni Brown.
Oh, Giovanni Brown, right.
Baller.
Okay.
Baller.
Darby will go put look quality at the back. Again, so get your comments in down below. We've got 5 or 10 minutes. If you are new to the channel as well, please give this stream a like. That'll be massively appreciated. And also subscribe if you're new. We're just over 500 away from 10k. And also subscribe to that man down there as well. Again, do some good stuff on the Stacey West, Jake.
Yeah, previews, reviews, all sorts of content. Yeah. We've got a podcast. We've got a website. Come over, the Stacey West. More than happy to have you. Make sure you hit a subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 by the end of 22, which is amateur numbers to old matey over there. Where are you? Where are you? There. This man. I'm not used to that yet. Yeah, amateur numbers compared to this man, but it would mean a lot to me if we could get there.
Absolutely. Cheers, mate. Yeah, agree on Lee Evans. Been an absolute rock solid player this year. I think at Accrington, he was unbelievable. I think he had something like 82% pass completion record. You know, really good. How good is Josh Earl? I think he is one of Fleetwood's best players, and I do worry if he gets injured because I think we've got no cover. No one is good, and we look at a totally different side when he's not in the team. So I would worry, and it shows you how good. I said to Jake over a pint, I think Josh Earl is better than Regan Poole.
Yeah, I think you're deluded.
Okay.
But, you know, this is the thing. This is the thing, Ben, because football, you're going to go, oh, we've got better players than you.
No, we don't.
We'll see, because...
You know what's annoying, by the way? I love our gaffer. I just don't like most of our players.
Yeah.
Last year, I loved our players. I didn't like the gaffer.
Yeah.
Until November.
I mean, we'll see in the summer, because one of them will be playing in the Championship, definitely, and we'll see where Josh Earl is. So we'll see.
I don't think you can always sum it like that. I think you've got Josh Earl has played a number of games in the Championship. He played 30 games in the Championship last year for a reason.
They're at different points of their career. Regan Poole has been at Man United and has come back down to rise back up, whereas Josh Earl has been at that level already, has stepped down because perhaps he thought the Championship, he maybe thought that a move to League One would suit him better. So then he's trying to get back up as well. Look, we'll be interested.
They're both similar age, by the way, as well. Before you say Josh Earl is like 28, like you tried to tell me in Lincoln, he's 23.
Yeah, so they're the same age.
All right. So for me, I'm not saying I think Regan Poole is one of the best in this league, but I'm saying to you, I think Josh Earl is comfortable on both feet, and you know the way he travels out. I think I would say he reminds me a lot of Harry Maguire, but the less of that about the better at the minute.
Career in sports journalism ahead for Ben Knackman. Wow.
Michael Morrison and Joe Rafferty gone under the radar. By the way, Clark Robinson put in an absolute shift at fullback the other day. We didn't mention that. He got an assist, didn't he? Not a natural fullback, but did really, really well there. And that's another thing that went under the radar. You beat Barnsley because it was men against boys, mate.
Is that us?
Yeah.
We did beat Barnsley 3-0.
Yeah, men against boys, mate.
2 right. Well, yeah, but the boys elbow people in the face because that's what James Norwood did. What a prank.
Yeah. Plymouth haven't conceded at home in League One. We have played Barnsley, Peterborough and Bolton. Yeah, they're good at home. They're very good at home, aren't they? That's another one, by the way, that Bolton have played to add to the tough list. You know, Plymouth, you know, but a tough start for them.
They're always good at home, Ben. Plymouth are always good at home. As long as
got 46 points there at home last year.
As long as even when they nearly got relegated the year they came up, they've always been class at home. Always.
Fratton Park, unbelievable gaff. Home Park, unbelievable gaff. And Portman Road, unbelievable gaff. Bear in mind, 3 good fan bases win games at home.
Don't forget Hillsborough. You get in trouble. Trust me, you'll get in trouble if you don't mention Hillsborough. Although
Hillsborough up until the weekend, you know, and when you have decent fans at home, they win games of football for you.
Thanks.
Any more comments we need to read? The Fleetwood own Josh Earl. Yes, best Derby County player was Eric Cashin. Great player. Sam Cosgrove looks really good. It was 2 really good finishes by Cosgrove. 12-man Fratton Park. huge having that 12th man. I think that's Portsmouth's season ticket logo, you know, be the 12th man. And
they've
we
retired
want to
the
buy
number
into
12.
that. That's what I mean.
They've retired the number 12 shirt, haven't they? I'm pretty sure Pompey have the number 12 retired. Pretty sure.
Yeah. Anyway, Jake, any final words? Again, another good show. We'll be back next Monday, I believe, talking about the next batch of fixtures, match day 8 in League One. They're coming round quick and fast. We're nearly the quarter way through this season. Yeah,
I just saw the comment. Forest Green 1-0 up. Reece Brown scored 37 minutes. So if they can keep hold of that, that's a big result for them. Yeah, no, look, Ben,
a huge win.
It's just good.
It would take him. Just hang on a minute before.
No, I don't want to talk about it.
They go up to 19th Forest Green, and Lincoln would go into the bottom 4.
Yeah. So sort yourself out, Accrington, you bloody pests, right? Yeah, no, it's been good to do another show, Ben. Obviously, it's been a week. We spoke obviously during the week. Obviously, we both wanted a bit of a break. You for your YouTube reasons. I'm absolutely swamped at work, so it was good to have a week where we didn't have a show. But now that we're back and back at football, it's great to just keep pumping them out, and it's just fun. It's just what we do.
It is, and again, I'll be back at Burton and Peterborough next Tuesday. Looking forward to those 2 games. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. There's a couple more questions. Who's your favourite Ipswich player? Better question for both of you. Lee Evans, for me, he does everything right. Role model on and off the pitch.
It's a weird one.
I think he's been their best player. Bar Chaplin, who scored the goals, I reckon he's been the best player at Ipswich this season. I think that he's a warrior in midfield. He passes the ball well. You know, he plays a lot of minutes. So for me, him or Burns, obviously, because he's ex-Fleetwood.
I quite like the centre half. Is it Ganassi?
Oh, Junaid, he was on loan at Fleetwood. He's a natural fullback, but dropped into
in the
back 3.
When we played them towards the back end of last year, I thought he was different gravy. Like the way he kept the ball and helped Ipswich and McKenna. So for me, I don't particularly have any favourite opposition players, but if I had to pick one that I wouldn't mind Lincoln signing, I think he's definitely the one that I'd pick.
Absolutely. We'll leave you there, guys. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Please give this stream a like. It will be massively appreciated. Also, subscribe down below. We're just over 500 away. Also, going to give me friend Jake from the Stacey West podcast a subscription as well. Until next time, I'll see you later. Be back with you on Saturday, and I'll see you Monday before our trip to Peterborough away.
Up the Imps.
Up the Kyods.